All right, so you should not watch anime because it's filled with magic and mysticism, or at least that's what these guys believe. So let's take a look.
What are your thoughts on Dragon Ball? And what are your thoughts on anime in general? You watch any anime? You ever watch any? You lived in Japan and you never saw anime?
No, I've seen anime, but I'm not familiar with Dragon Ball.
No, so. Well.
Whoa. How did you live in Japan, watch some anime, and not be familiar with Dragon Ball? Dude, that's like one of the pillars of anime, right? Like, that's what really kicked anime off. I'm like super shocked right now.
You're missing out, brother. So the Super Saiyan Trunk, Super Saiyan level 3 was pretty awesome. So no, that didn't mean anything.
This poor soul.
Here's the deal, and I'll tell you this about anime, okay? Anime, because the origin of it is eat up, I mean consumed with Eastern mysticism.
Oh yeah.
Now there's been some studios like Studio Ghibli that has done some, you know, in my mind, I'm an amateur artist, so when somebody is a very talented animator, I am taking note of that. So I mean, I can appreciate the art and the work about all that. But the philosophies and the concepts that are permeating those genres of animation are complete anti-God, anti-Christ. I mean, they have ghosts, they have ancient spirits, they have, you know, I don't know, there was one I saw years ago.
Okay, so, I mean, he makes a valid point. A lot of anime, right, is based on, well, it's all based out of Japan. And Christianity is not the primary religion there, right? So a lot of it's built off of Eastern religions. Now, is it anti-God? I mean, I'll go to Dragon Ball Z. I don't think that there's anything that is forthcoming saying or going against God per se, although obviously the things that are presented in a lot of these animes are contrary to what the Bible says. The question is, should that be enough for you not to watch anime?
It's called Princess Mononoke, and I'm talking about, it was eat up with all kinds of mysticism, and you know, the ancestral spirits are coming back, and and demons. There was a big pig that was eaten up with a demon, and it swelled, it just became some big giant thing. It was nuts, man. And but. So, and really that just brings me to a larger point, is that Christians have to be very careful the stuff we put in our mind, because if you poison this mind and warp it, you're going to skew your understanding of God, and that's not a good place to be, man.
And that's the point of this entire thing. Can anime corrupt your way of thinking? I think you'd have to be a pretty immature Christian for that to happen, right? Because a lot of the times, or most of the times, when I'm looking at anime, or most people are looking at anime, they are looking at it through the lens of, this is made believe, right? This is not real. This doesn't exist. I probably shouldn't be trying to go Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? I do think, though, if you find yourself in a way where you're watching these animes and they are really influencing you to rely more on yourself and your own power and your own friends versus relying on God, then yeah. And obviously at that point, these animes are getting in the way of your relationship with God. But if that's not the case and you're just taking it as what it is, which is just something that's made believe, purely created for entertainment, I personally don't see the issue with this.
Even the language that the Bible uses as Lot vexed his righteous soul. So you can hex or vex your own soul by immersing yourself in witchcraft. Yeah. And and I think anime does all that. And not only that, I think that there's, you know, like there's a lot of filth and nastiness in anime, and so that's just something to consider. So I'm going to look at the.
Well, there's a branch of it that even goes into pornography.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that.
I will say that as a long time anime fan, over the years, a lot of these animes have gotten worse when it comes to the way that they portray women, the way that they show certain things, and obviously more and more there's a lot more fan service that's happening, and you should stay away from animes that are tempting you, especially sexually. The Bible tells us to flee from sexual temptation. So if you find yourself in those situations, then obviously you need to stay away from those specific animes. Or as a matter of fact, if it's getting in the way of your relationship with God in general, then yeah, you should stay away from anime. But I don't think that anime in and of itself is evil or as bad or as anti-God. I think that for the most part, they are just portraying a world that everyone understands is made believe.
The stuff that is brought to the Cartoon Network, that's Dragon Ball Z, is edited severely because it's a lot of the stuff that is just fresh from the press in Japan is just straight up wicked. It's just wicked. So that's exactly right.
So that's the question. What do you guys think? Should people watch anime? Should they not? We've touched on this type of video a few times before, but let me know in the comments. What do you think? And as always, just want to remind you that we must persevere.